they basically say that it dates back to this um, particular aspect because we've got conflicting lots of details. Now, the thing is, even though it's well known, I mean, as ancienthistoryabout.com says, we don't know which god was celebrated, exactly how or where it was celebrated, or what its origins were. But it's one of the most ancient Roman holidays. Now, the interesting thing is, it's not only associated with Valentine's Day, it's also the setting for Caesar's refusal of the crown that was made immortal by Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. And it actually gives an insight into the final months of Caesar's life, as well as this Roman holiday. So, if you want to check out that particular scene, it is Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, and it's towards the middle of the play when Julius refuses the crown. This is before he gets killed. And, you've got quite a lot of references to she-wolves in here, and I've got to read out this next bit here. Why is Lupercalia associated with Valentine's Day? We all like to know. So, it's the background for Mark Antony to offer the crown to Caesar, as I say 3 times. And apologies, it's not the middle of the play, it's actually Act 1 of Julius Caesar. So immediately from the start, we get an insight into the whole association with things. Now, other than Lupercalia, the big calendar event in Shakespeare's tragedy is also in the Ides of March, March the 15th. It's quite appropriate, really. Now, it says here that although scholars have argued that Shakespeare did not intend to portray Lupercalia as the day before the assassination, it sure sounds that way. Cicero points to the danger to the Republic that Caesar presented on this Lupercalia, according to J.A. North, a danger the assassins addressed on that Ides. It was also, to quote Cicero, that day on which, sodden with wine, smothered with perfumes, and naked Antony dared to urge the groaning people of Rome into slavery by offering Caesar the diadem that symbolized the kingship. And the interesting thing is, just after that, it goes on to say that chronologically, Lupercalia was actually a full month before the Ides of March. It was usually celebrated February the 15th, or the period between the 13th and the 15th, which basically covers our modern Valentine's Day. But it goes on. I mean, there's all sorts of interesting connections, and it's just amazing to see what actually comes out of this. It's it's just amazing how much we get. We get a lot of associations with the pagan side of things, but it is technically a celebration of life and love, which is basically what we try and do every single day. And I think that is something that is genuinely missed out a lot of the time. If we don't have that connection, well, we've practically lost the whole thing with love and dedications and everything like that. However, all is not lost. I mentioned poems earlier. Now, The Guardian released on February the 10th quite a few poets, quite a few writers, I should say, who've chosen some of their best all-time favourite poems in The Guardian, and I wanted to read out a couple of them because it's just beautiful to see that this tradition of the classical form of love poem is still alive today. And I wanted to kick off with this one that was chosen by John Burnside. Now, his choice for a romantic Valentine's Day poem is The Silent Lover by Walter Raleigh. Now, just before we go into that poem, this is what he had to say about it in The Guardian. To be in love and to say nothing about it, this seems to me the most elegant, and perhaps the only sensible, form of romantic attachment. It's a sentimental poetry in music only occasional address. The best pop song on this theme is the band's It Makes No Difference, with the great line, "Now there is no love as true as the love that dies untold, but Walter Raleigh's The Silent Lover keeps its own counsel even more eloquently." The Silent Lover by Walter Raleigh. Passions are likened best to floods and streams. The shallow murmur, but the deep are dumb. So when affections yield discourse, it seems the bottom is but shallow whence they come, that they are rich in words discover that they are poor in that which makes a lover. Wrong not, sweet empress of my heart, the merit of true passion, with thinking that he feels no smart that sues for no compassion. Since, if my plaints serve not to approve the conquest of thy beauty, it comes not from defect of love, but from excess of duty. For, knowing that I sue to serve a saint of such perfection, as all desire but none deserve a place in her affection, I rather choose to want relief than venture the revealing, where glory recommends the grief, despair distrusts the healing. Thus those desires that aim too high for any mortal lover, when reason cannot make them die, discretion doth them cover. Yet, when discretion doth bereave the plaints that they should utter, then thy discretion may perceive that silence is a suitor. Silence in love bewrays more woe than words, though ne'er so witty. A beggar that is dumb, you know, may challenge double pity. Then wrong not, dearest to my heart, my true, through secret passion. He smarteth most that hides his smart, and sues for no compassion. Beautiful poem in itself. Now, the next one, I have to say this is one of my favourite poems of all time. We're going a little bit more into the whole darker aspect of love now, which we're going to touch on a little bit in the next section. But Margaret Drabble posted up in The Guardian as well in this same thing, that the best love poems are written by the most faithless lovers, Burns and Byron. There are so many great Burns and Byron love poems, but my favourite is Byron's poem to a young man at Missolonghi who looked after him in his last illness. It begins, "I watched thee when the foe was at our side," and the last stanza has the greatest split infinitive in literature. Poems of unrequited love are very powerful, and this is one of the best. I also admire When We Two Parted in Silence and Tears, but I guess these aren't very good for St. Valentine. Well, Margaret Drabble, she actually has chosen one of the best poems she could ever really choose. So, this is dedicated to all of you out there who have suffered or are currently suffering from unrequited love. Love and Death by Lord Byron. I watched thee when the foe was at our side, ready to strike at him, or thee and me, were safety hopeless, rather than divide aught with one loved save love and liberty. I watched thee on the breakers when the rock received our prow, and all was storm and fear, and bade thee cling to me through every shock, this arm would be thy bark, or breast by bier. I watched thee when the fever glazed thine eyes, yielding my couch and stretched me on the ground, when overworn with watching, ne'er to rise from thence if thou an early grave hadst found. The earthquake came, and rocked the quivering wall, and men and nature reeled as if with wine. Whom did I seek around the tottering hall? For thee. Whose safety first provide for? Thine. And when convulsive throes denied my breath the faintest utterance to my fading thought, to thee, to thee, e'en in the grasp of death my spirit turned, oh, oftener than it ought. Thus much and more, and yet thou lov'st me not, and never wilt. Love dwells not in our will, nor can I blame thee, though it be my lot to strongly, wrongly, vainly love thee still. Just two of the most beautiful poems, I think, ever, really and truly. I think it's just stunning to see that this kind of poetry is still appreciated today. So wonderful that The Guardian actually did put this kind of thing up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move a little bit into the more rocky, dramatic sort of terms of love. And we're going to kick off with actually another one of my favourite tracks. And this is by a guy called Jace Everett. Now, Sassy Goth did play this track on her most recent Night Owl, and I loved it so much, I thought I'd play it on mine. So, sorry Sassy Goth for nicking, but I love this track as well. And if those who don't know, it's associated with the True Blood series, which is a vampire book series as well as a TV series. And this is the theme song from this particular tune, and from this particular series, I should say, and it's called Bad Things, and it's by Jace Everett. Enjoy.
When you came in, the air went out, and every shadow filled up with doubt. I don't know who you think you are, but before the night is through, I wanna do bad things with you. I'm the kind to sit up in his room, heart sick and eyes filled up with blue. I don't know what you've done to me, but I know this much is true. I wanna do bad things with you. Okay. Air went out, and all those shadows there filled up with doubt. I don't know who you think you are, but before the night is through, I wanna do bad things with you. I wanna do real bad things with you. Do bad things with you. I wanna do real bad things with you.
Love-struck Romeo, sing the streets a serenade, laying everybody low with a love song that he made. Find the streetlight, steps out of the shade, says something like, you and me, babe, how about it? Juliet says, hey, it's Romeo, you nearly give me a heart attack. He's underneath the window, she's singing, Eli, my boyfriend's back. You shouldn't come around here singing up at people like that. Anyway, what you gonna do about it? Juliet, the dice was loaded from the start, and I bet, then you exploded into my heart, and I forget. The movie song. Where